Time for another Carbide Create video. So today I'm going to talk about how to build this butterfly that a friend of mine, Mary Beth, drew. So what we're going to do is we're going to basically have two parts of video. In this one we're going to use Carbide Create training to draw the butterfly. And then we're going to have a part two, which is going to use Carbide Create Pro to model the butterfly in 3 dimensions. So this is actually a 3D model over here, but it does show the orange line is the Carbide Create drawing. So we're going to be drawing a butterfly from scratch, and then part 2 of it will be the CCP Carbide Create Pro modeling. The Carbide Create skills used will be setting background, creating polylines to trace an image. We'll be using edit node and moving nodes. We'll be using the corner tool, and we'll be using trim vector. And then we're also going to show how to import an image and do an image trace. So we're going to start in with how to draw the butterfly. This is a Carbide Create kind of program thing. So I have this butterfly here, a butterfly moth, a butterfly that a friend of mine, Mary Beth, drew. And I made her a 3D image of it, and she liked it. So I'd like to use this to demonstrate some skill sets. So this is what I got off of, I just copied this off of her Facebook post. And so I'm going to come down here, and I'm going to go to Snippet Tool, New, and I'm going to trim this down as best I can to the size that just basically has the butterfly. There you go, and then you save it, and save it as a butterfly. All right. So now we've done that. So now we want to bring this butterfly into the image. So we come over here, and it says, well, let's trace it. So let's try and bring it in and trace it. So here it is, and we've got 2 of them. Doesn't really matter which one. So now there's a couple things when you trace. You can do the threshold here and hit trace to see what it's going to look like. But I'm trying to build some different pieces, and so I'm going to do more than one trace. So I'm going to put it up here pretty high until I get this edge to come in, so I can have a full trace of the wings. All right, so now I've got a full trace of the wings, and I'm going to hit OK, and I'm going to bring it over. So now I got a nice copy, and it's got quite a bit of resolution to it. So we'll see what another one looks like here. So I'm going to put it down here. Now let's go back and bring in another image. And we'll do the threshold a little lower. So what we're trying to do now is get these dots in. Okay, so that's got the dots pretty good. So it's a little bit different to take. So we'll bring that down and we'll compare the 2. So if we look at the 2, this one the dots are not too great. This one the dots are much better. So as we're building this butterfly, here's the pieces that we need. We need wings, we need the dots, we need the body, and we need some eyes. So there's 4 pieces we have to build. So we'll take this first one right here, and we'll do this the first way. So we'll bring it up here, and I notice that on this one right here, the wings aren't connected right here. So what I want is the wings independent like that. So when we model it in 3D, that'll be a little easier for us to do. So here's my moth that I pulled in. It's the first one I did. I just have it up here, and I put an oval right here. And so you just build that with your circle tool, and you drag it down to where it just touches everywhere, and you end up with a set of wings, but you've got an oval in the middle of it. So we'll hit Shift, highlight the center one, and so now we got everything highlighted. Now I'm going to take this and I'm going to make another copy over here because I want to get the body out of it as well. So, but this time we're just going for the wings. So I'm going to come over here to my trim vector tool, and now we come in here, and everywhere there's a blue dot is an area that suggests that I could cut something out. So we'll cut, and we'll cut, and we'll cut, and we'll cut, 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 and cut, and we'll hit OK. So now we have, if I click again, I have some pink or purple lines. So we're going to highlight all of those again, just the ones we care about. And we're going to come over here to this tool, which is a join vector. Now, sometimes you don't get so lucky and they don't join. And the reason they don't join is because if you zoom really close in on these dots, the nodes aren't on top of each other. So if you look real close and they don't join, one of these nodes will not be on top of each other, and they have to be on top of each other before they'll join. But now I have a pair of wings, and we'll go ahead and just copy that and pull it up. So I have one of my elements. So we'll go ahead and do the body, and then I'm going to come back to the wings for a second. So we'll highlight again, same thing, highlight everything, but now we're trying to save just the body. So we'll go back into our vector tool, see if we can make that work. So we'll cut everything away but the body. And we'll come get these little pieces. Now they won't delete right now because it's trying to delete the other side. You can see this is a continuous bar across here. And maybe this one will. Nope. We'll come down here. Yep. Yep. Okay, so what's going on up here? Well, let's see. Let's just hit OK. And we'll come up here and we'll highlight it. And you know, I can just delete that. It's gone. And I can delete that and it's gone. All right, so now it's purple again. So we'll highlight it again, and we can see right here, if we're going to have a problem, they're not lining up, it's going to be in one of these two locations, because everything else is joined. That's all joined, that's all joined. And if you highlight them both, one is straight line and one is dotted, which means there are two different lines. So then we'll go hit our join vector tool, and now they're all dotted. So now we have the body. So we'll click on the body. Now these are all grouped together, so I'm gonna hit ungroup. I'll come back, and here's my body. Now, I did something kind of goofy here. I cut its head off, but I still have its head over here. So that wasn't cool. I'm sure that my butterfly does not like losing its head. So I'm gonna put it back on top of the body. And I'm going to make sure the lines stick through the other one just a little bit. Okay? So now we'll highlight that, and we'll come to our vector trim tool, and we'll cut that piece out, and we'll see if we can cut that little piece out and that little piece out. No more to be found. Then we'll note we got two lines still. We'll hit our vector join tool, and it's one piece, and we got our head back. So we've just built two of the pieces that we need. So I'm going to come back over here and I'm going to go with another technique. And I'm going to delete this. And I'm going to, now we put this butterfly here, and I didn't show you how we got it in here. So we're going to come up here to set background, load image. I'm going to pull up the butterfly again, and here's the image. And so what we need to do now is I want to make it a little darker, and I want to make it a little smaller, so we'll go 50%. And you have to be inside the background edit to move it. 50%, we'll go, how about 0.35? And So we keep adjusting this till we get it to the size we want. 0.25, too small, 0.3. So you play around with that till you get it like you like it. And if you're like me, you'll just go undo, undo, which it's not doing. So here we go. Let's see if we've got, we'll move the background image again, and we'll see if we can line it up with our other, still just a little too big. So we'll go 0.275. So you have to keep fiddling around till you get it like you like it and where you like it. So that's pretty good. We'll go with that. So now what I'm going to do is do a different way here, and we're going to be done with the background. So we've got our background image loaded, and we're going to kill this, and we're going to come in here to our Create Polyline. Now, Carbide Create loves to find contrast, and so what I'm going to be doing is running around this with a polyline, and I'm going to draw that wing as another method of doing that. But before I do that, I want to go up here to View, and when I want to turn Snap to Grid, I want to turn Snap to Grid off. So it's not going to snap to these little squares. So it still may try it. So I polygrid on, come to a nice starting place, and we're just going to run around it, and we're going to tap, tap, and it kind of wants to find the contrast. So, but we're going to keep going until we get it all the way around. And I'm going to kind of speed up here because I kind of want to make some mistakes so that you can see how the best way to fix them is, and you can zip around it. So I guarantee you I'm not this good a tracer, so it's trying to find that contrast. I don't know how it does that, but you just run around about as fast as you can go. And I'm not going to clean all this up, but we'll clean a little bit of it up just to show you how you would do it. And you can do any image, and I made it less opaque to show, it makes it a little easier to trace. And then we come back in here, and the piece that was missing before, I want it to make a little bit of a body here, so we'll kind of make a little bit of a circle like we did before. And it grabs up at the end. So now I've got the image traced, but it looks kind of terrible. So we're going to turn on nodes, and we're going to come back in here, and we're going to go in, and we can grab every node and kind of scoot it over. And so this needs to go out. So I'm going to hit right click, insert node, and put a node in there. So we'll come over here, right click, insert node. Like I said, I'm not going to go around the whole thing like this, and this is kind of giving it more of an arc to the, as it goes around. Insert node, you see how it kind of pulls it around. So you run around like that. And we're going to do a few more here, just because I got under really messy space here. And then I'm going to show you another little trick. Most of y'all probably already know how to do this. So the square nodes, the square ones indicate kind of an angle here, and the round ones indicate a curve. So the round is, see, that's going to be a curve now. So it says it's curved, it's got handlebars on it and everything. And the square ones are kind of like hard turns. So you just keep playing with it. You go around the whole circle like that until you get it like you like it. And you can grab these handles here, and you can move it and change the length. Most of the time, if you just add a node, it works all right. So I'm not going to do the rest of it. I'm done here. And now I'm going to go back, and I'm going to highlight the nodes again. Right here. Actually, I'm not going to do that. I'm going to come over. I've got the wing highlighted. I'm going to come over here to this corner tool, and I'm going to hit that. So you see all these blue dots pop up. Well, when I hit these blue dots, it starts to smooth out all those squares, but it realizes that there's some hard turns here that it doesn't want to take. and you can pick the ones that you want to clean up on, and just go on around and hit them, turn them on is what you're actually doing. And so now you've smoothed that out quite a bit. So that takes some of your work away from you. And then when you get up here and you're happy with it, and you can change the radius of which that does it, so you can make it more round or less round. So that works pretty good. So now you've got a wing made. Now you need two. So you just click on it, copy, come over here to mirror, and now you've got two. All right. I'm kind of thinking I like my other ones best, so we'll just grab these two right here, and we won't throw them away. We'll just put them up here in a workspace. So these are the two right here, but I'm going to move these two over because they might fit my model better. I did change my background image, so no big deal. So now I have my wings in here, and you just center them like you like them. You can use the center tool, but your image is there and you want to kind of keep your image correct, but you could use the centering tool, and the second thing, it'll center on the second thing you make, and you come over here to align vectors and you hit center tool, and it puts it in the center of your working space, so you can ignore the background at this point if you want. So now we're going to come over and we need some dots. So this is one that I pulled let me see. This is the second one right here that I pulled in. Looks kind of shabby. Probably could have done a better job with that one. So let's see over here. This is one I also pulled in the same way that I did that one. I just kept changing the contrast. And so right now we just want the dots. So we're going to come in here and we're going to start clicking on stuff. Now they're all grouped, so I'm going to ungroup them. And I'm going to start deleting things that I don't want. So I don't want that. I don't want the wings because I already did that. I don't want the body because I already did that. I'm going to leave these eyes alone. And so now I'm pretty much down to just the dots. Now these little ones won't carve, so I might as well get rid of them. And so if you want to cheat a little bit to make these things carve, let's just highlight this one, this one, this one, this one, this one, and this one. And then we're going to come over here to our offset tool, and we're going to go outside, and we're going to go 0.25 of a meter. So it made those dots just a little bigger. Now what that means is it's going to be just a little easier to carve, and we're going to take a little artistic license here and undo my favorite key. And we have to change it, so we're going to be using a 1/8" ball nose bit, and if we make them too small, it just won't carve in any detail. So these will carve little dents a little bit because they're bigger. So you might want to change a few things around like that. You can decide whether you want to scoot them in or scoot them out. So that gives us our dots. So we'll come lay our dots in here, and we're going to make sure those are all grouped together like twice. So they're not. So now we're going to tie them all together so they move as one. And we want them tied together for another reason, because when we go to 3D model it, these are going to all have the same 3D model. So we put this in here together with the other one, and we align it to where we're happy with it. Now if it doesn't want to align like that, you just zoom in a little more and you kind of grab it and slowly move it. So that's that. We'll grab our body shape. I'm going to compare that to the, I lost my head. So undo and undo. And we'll join those vectors. So they're not quite joining. There's something not quite lined up here. You can see that's not quite lined up, so we'll hit our node tool like we were trying to do before, and we'll kill this. That's going to be a delete, undo. All right, so we'll come back in here and we'll hit our node and we'll put it on top of it. All right, so then we're going to hit done and we'll hit join. So there it actually joined them. So there's a little bit of a squirrely thing in there we could fix. We'll do that later. So now we've got our body. We put that in here. Again, it's being squirrely, so you just have to jump in and zoom in. And it doesn't quite match because I used the different wings. So let's use the same one that matches. So I'll kick this out. And this is the one that was made for these wings. We'll come on in here. And we'll put this back in here. Really zoom it in until it matches up, just like we like it. And now we've got the eyes. Now these eyes are, we had those other eyes out here somewhere, right here. So we could use these eyes. But again, they won't carve. So we use our offset tool. We make them a little bigger, make them like we like it. In fact, I kind of like this dot better than the dot that I had on there before. So I'm going to chuck that, put this dot, this is on its back. And then we'll take these together and we'll group them and we'll put those in. Like we like them. All right. So this is how you draw the butterfly. And so you can cut this in 2D and just carve it with a V-carve. What I'm going to do now is I'm going to jump to the modeling tab and I'm going to show how you model this. So I decided to put together an information sheet on how to make this butterfly moth. So what we have here, this is all of the required data for building the 3 Carbide Create Pro 3D models. I put it over here in Excel as well. There's 7 pieces that you add and subtract and round. We'll cover that in video 2, and we'll show this again at the end. Down here we have the tool paths. I'm using an 8-inch ball nose for a perimeter cut. Then we have a rough tool path, a fine tool path, and then there's another one that is optional. And these are kind of how I had them set up for the perimeter, rough pass, and the fine pass, final pass. Anyway, so these numbers down here are just how I set mine up. Depending on what kind of wood you used, I was using pine. That's a soft wood. So that's information that you can pause the video on and read that out if you like.
Thank you for watching the video. Here's some additional resources. Hopefully we'll have another video soon. Please subscribe and like if you found this useful.